right. It's time to talk about AI, D&D, TTRPGs. Let's go. All right, so I guess I'm a sellout now. An AI shill, a corporate cog in the great dystopian machine. That's the vibe some folks are putting out with comments like this. And to be honest, I get it. AI is scary to a certain point. It moves fast, it challenges traditions, and when it enters sacred spaces like D&D, it can feel like a literal invasion, and even worse, it can feel like something that is taking away from humanity. But here's my perspective. I literally use AI for everything. So you know what? Go ahead and hit that unsubscribe button if that bothers you or if you have heard enough already, because the truth is there might be some people who feel that way. But in this video, I'm coming clean. This is it. We have to talk about this. I use AI for D&D prep. I use AI for my YouTube channel. I use it for art. I use it to help me with writing. Sometimes I use it to write things. Sometimes I use it to edit things. And sometimes I use it for ideas before I write things. And then I put those things that I write through AI to help me edit them and make them smoother and better. I use it to help me with brainstorming. The truth is, I use AI at so many points in all of my creative processes that the line between human and machine truly blurs at times. Well, that sounded kind of cool, didn't it? It sounded kind of cool, actually, especially if you like the Terminator. But here's the thing. I'm not ashamed of that, and I never have been. I've never made any secret about that, because I think this technology, when used wisely, is revolutionary, and it doesn't have to take away from our humanity. It can actually add to it in really interesting and innovative ways. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the whole thing. Let's go. Let's start out with the obvious. So point number one here is the practical power of AI for game masters, okay? AI is a productivity multiplier. For game masters, prep time is a huge barrier. Life is busy. Sessions come fast, and creating meaningful content, immersive experiences, this takes time, okay? It's not just about sitting down at the table and doing things. Even someone like me, who kind of prepares minimal content and does a lot of improvising, prep is a huge thing. For my newest game, Darkest Dawn, I spent hours last week prepping. Some of that was using AI to help me, but there's some of it that just can't be done with AI. Some of it is a human factor. But here's the thing. I can use AI for the things AI can do well, and then I can save the stuff it can't do, and I can put together the important pieces myself. This saves me a tremendous amount of time. Speaking of which, I have opened up a new game Thursday mornings, 1 a.m. CST. Darkest Dawn, same campaign setting, same stuff. So if you want to jump in and game with me, and if Monday morning at 1 a.m. is a weird time for you, guess what? There's now a Thursday. So boom, link is in the description. Make sure to check out my Start Playing Games profile. Anyway, AI helps me to break through that bottleneck, okay? Need a villain with a tragic backstory? Get like 20 ideas in 30 seconds. Take your two favorites, combine them, use the stuff you wanted to use beforehand, insert it in there, boom, you've got it. This saved you a ton of time and might have honestly given you ideas that you wouldn't have thought of before. Need a tavern full of quirky NPCs? 10 seconds, like literally. Want 10 session hooks tailored to my party's choices last week? We can do that. It's not going to come out perfect. I'm going to have to tweak it. But, when you're filling a tavern with NPCs or creating session hooks, 95% of which are going to be redundant and they're not going to matter in the long run. AI is a great tool for this, right? And then when the player characters show that they care about it, it's like, this is the one I can put human energy into, okay? It's not about replacing creativity. It's about accelerating it, okay? It's about cutting through the blank page anxiety. I don't usually have blank page anxiety, but for some people they do, and it can be really helpful for that. It can also be about just getting to the fun part, getting the stuff done that I would have written anyway, and get to the stuff that AI wouldn't write like me so that I can actually write it, giving it my own unique twist. This is the stuff AI is super useful for when it comes to session prep, okay? And when AI does get it wrong, which it does from time to time, that's just another creative spark, honestly. Because I can take that, I can use little elements that I maybe like, and then import my own stuff, adapt it, make it truly mine, okay? It's collaboration in a way. I'm using a tool with an IQ of like over 200 to help me, and I turn this into an automated process, okay? I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm an incredibly busy person. I work 40 plus hours a week at a job. I work on my YouTube channel and Discord no less than 4 hours a day, whether I'm working or not, days off and days when I'm working. And to be really honest, I'm putting in 8 to 12-hour days on my YouTube channel, even when I have days off from my job. On top of that, now I'm running 2 paid games. Well, I have one game that is currently running, which is going so good, and there's still 2 seats left on Monday mornings, 1 a.m. CST. And I'm just starting a new one on Thursday mornings, 1 a.m. There are no players for that yet because I literally just created it before I sat down to record this video. But the point is that I'm going to be coming into a situation where I'm going to have a lot more going on. And this never slows down. I have a dog, I have kids. There are a lot of things going on in my life. Any hours that I can get back for myself using tools to help me speed up my processes and to get a better outcome, honestly, are welcome. They're welcome not only in my business life, but they're welcome in my gaming life, because I don't want my gaming to suffer because I have less time for prep. Guess what? I used to spend 6-8 hours prepping for a session sometimes. Now I can get very similar prep done in 1 to 2 hours just by using AI to do some of the legwork that I would have done anyway. And honestly, AI maybe does a better job of some of the more mundane stuff than I do, especially the stuff I don't like to think about or I don't really feel like sitting down to flesh out completely, right? Call me a shill, call me a cheat if you don't like it, but bro, saving 4 hours is saving 4 hours. And if it empowers me to provide a better game experience for my players, what's the goal here? Is the goal for me to die on a hill of loneliness by myself with no one in my games while rightfully stating that I did everything myself and that I never used an AI tool for anything? Or would it be better to have thriving games that are really fun, that are well prepped for, even in my busy life? And then I have a little tag on my human person that says, yeah, I use AI sometimes to help me prep for games. You tell me in the comments which one's better. But I also understand that this leads to a slightly deeper and perhaps darker question. What about the soul of the game itself? Okay. This is the heart of the fear, I think, that AI is going to strip away the soul of tabletop role playing, that our games will become cookie cutter, lifeless, soulless as a result of having the machines in there making creative choices for us. But here's the truth. Soul doesn't come from your tools. It comes from your choices. It comes from the way you collaborate with your players. And there's a lot more in that interaction that's going to lead to creativity, good creativity, than could ever come from AI. AI cannot run an immersive TTRPG game, at least not yet. Not yet. But it can't do it. It can give us data output for years, but that collaborative energy between the GM and the players is actually what gives a story its soul and its life. And this is the truth. I'm saying this as someone who's very pro AI. The stories I tell with my players, we laugh about the stuff that goes on. There's tension, there's drama, there's spontaneity, and there are human nuances to this, even time period specific human nuances that AI would struggle to pick up on. And then there's body language nuances. Even over VTTs, you hear voice inflection and you can feel the subtleties of the emotions when the drama is taking place. And this fuels creativity to move forward to the next sentence, or the next line, or the next scene, or the next NPC action. This is something that AI cannot do. Not yet. Not yet. But this is where I believe the soul of the game rests, in the collaboration. If we're all neurons in the brain of the story, we're firing with each other and we're creating something incredible. We're creating a piece of intellectual collaborative art, and we're telling the stories of these player characters. And this is such an incredible experience. This is a creative form of art, is actually what it is. I think people actually often mislabel TTRPGs as games, when the truth is that they are more a form of collaborative artwork. When I'm running a game of D&D, I actually think of it being less like a game like Monopoly or StarCraft, and I think more about it being like a process like writing a song or playing the drums. Honestly, that's what I think about it. It's a creative thing, okay? And the truth is, AI gives me more time and energy to invest in these moments because it allows me to show up more present, less stressed, more creative. Instead of just not having time for prep and being stressed about that, I can prep exactly what I need and then go into the game fully prepared. Okay. For me, this is a huge burden lifted off my shoulders. Soul comes from humans connecting. And if you're worried that using a tool means losing that, I'd argue that, first of all, you're probably already thinking more deeply about this than most people, which is awesome. By the way, I have a couple ebooks. I have my top 10 tips free ebook, but I also have a book about emotional resonance and transcendent experiences at the game table. And I would encourage you to take a look at those. One is a free ebook, and then the other one is my newest paid ebook. And that's exactly what that book is about. If you want to hear my deepest insights, tactics, philosophies about how I run games and how I make them transcendent, emotionally resonant experiences, you can grab that. But the point is I don't believe AI is taking away from the soul of the game, because AI isn't touching the stuff that makes up the actual soul of the game. AI is just creating some data, some stuff that we can use when we're creating our plot arcs or our NPCs or our stat blocks. And then if those things pass it through the filter of, yeah, I like it, let's use it, then they've already received that sort of human touch, especially if we touch them up and fix the problems. And then we present them to our players. Well, guess what you're likely going to end up with, if you're doing this properly and you're providing genuine human oversight, is you're going to end up with stuff that's actually probably better than what you would have dreamed up by yourself with the time you were given. Given unlimited time, yeah, we could do everything ourselves. Time is not unlimited. Okay. I'm a very busy person and you probably are too. So maybe that resonates. Now, with that being said, there is another element to AI that some people will be like, well, GM Philosopher, what about the political and ethical concerns? What about the environmental concerns? Okay. So let's talk about that. And I'm going to get real for a second. Okay. AI isn't neutral. It's trained on massive data sets, many without consent. Let's just say it. That's the truth. There have literally been court rulings on this now. We're starting to see the fallout of this. It's being rolled out by massive corporations with profit motives, and it's reshaping industries, especially art, writing, design, faster than people can adapt. And let me tell you this, I'm going to tell you right now, I know this better than most because I started my digital marketing career in 2009 as a writer. I was a blog writer, very specifically like a health and wellness and lifestyle blog writer. I've been writing blogs since I was in my early 20s. And guess what? When ChatGPT came out, it single-handedly destroyed my business in less than a year. I had to go into digital marketing project management out of sheer necessity for survival. I literally stopped being able to find enough writing work to pay my bills. That it all happened in 1 year when ChatGPT came out. So I understand whenever people say things like, you don't understand, this is taking people's jobs. No, I think that a lot of people who watch my channel don't understand that I have not once, but twice had my career really overturned and destroyed by AI. The second time it happened was when I was working in my project management phase of my career in digital marketing. And basically one day I got a call getting laid off from my job, them telling me, sorry, we have to cut major costs. We're having cash flow problems. We're letting you go. Like, we're not firing you, but we have to downsize you because we can't afford to keep paying you to be a project manager. With that being said, we're very excited because we have a bunch of AI tools we've been training to help like outsource the stuff you do. So AI can actually do a lot of this stuff for us. We don't really need you here anymore. You're way more expensive and it takes longer for you to do these things than it would for AI. AI, we can just push a button and it's free, right? So this is literally like this conversation was had with me, okay? So that is partly what led to me then going into like a different job thing, which I'm not going to talk about right now. Like, I'm working in literally a different industry right now. And all of my digital marketing work experience, it is all culminating in this channel because now I've realized that the only way for me to truly secure my future in digital marketing is to own my own assets. So like my own YouTube channel, my own business around that. So that's what we're doing here, partly. And I'm doing it about something I love, which is D&D, but the marketing and business part of it, like, is the result of literally twice having my entire career, everything I've worked for, basically wiped out overnight by AI. Not just AI, there are other factors also. There are ways still for humans to earn a living in those places, but with where I was at in my career and what types of businesses I was working with and just with the stuff I was doing, I was not one of the humans who survived the AI apocalypse in a professional sense. But does that make me bitter about AI? No. AI is helping me to build my business, right? So I understand, like, don't come at me saying, but GM Philosopher, you don't understand. People are losing jobs. No, I've completely had to change my entire career twice because of AI. And I understand, like, when you have a family, children, a house to pay for, and literally within the span of like 4 months, you watch your income dwindle down to almost zero. And you're like, oh my God, is this like permanent? Is this going to change? Like, I understand that. And I've had to scramble and scrap to get by at times when those things happen, right? So they're real concerns. It's reshaping industries and especially hitting the art. It's especially hitting the writing. It's especially hitting the design, okay? Now, I'm not dismissing any of these fears, any of these things, okay? I sit with them and I do ask myself hard questions about them. Whose work was scraped to build the model I'm using? This is a very valid question, okay? What biases are baked into the suggestions I'm getting from AI? This is a very valid thing to say. Some of these are political questions, okay? Some of these are ethical questions. There are times when I have had AI give me some really whack stuff, and I'm like, what is this because I must have said a word that triggered some kind of political filter. I'm like, this has happened to me. Okay. And I understand it. How can I credit source and supplement, not just consume blindly? This is a very important question. There's a point to where this becomes impossible with AI because it's kind of trained on a bunch of things and you don't really know what it's using to come up with what it's giving you. Because AI didn't just wake up one day and have all of human knowledge. It had to be fed the human knowledge by other humans. And that's where we get the AI we have today. And this is true whether it be images, whether it be writing, etc. Using AI responsibly means engaging with those questions. Okay. And it means pushing for positive changes. Okay. Here's the thing about the technology. I think because I use AI, a lot of people think that I think it's like perfect and that there's nothing wrong with it. No. I personally have my own views on like the legalities of training AI. I'm not going to talk about that here necessarily. Those are my personal views. I'm saying I understand the conversation. I've had to really have that conversation with myself. Let's just say that I don't have a problem using it. I don't have a problem using it, and I have my reasons for that. The tech isn't going away. It's not perfect. So the question becomes, how can we shape it and make it better? And this is especially important when we talk about the environmental impact of AI, because I actually care a lot about the environment, and I think this is worth discussing. And I've had people comment to my channel basically saying AI is evil because it uses so much energy and it's a drain on our resources and it's going to hurt the environment, it's going to hurt the climate, things like that. So there is a climate cost to AI. There's no denying that. Training and running these models consumes insane amounts of energy. Okay, server farms burn electricity, GPUs run hot, and if we're not careful, all of this magic will come with a hidden carbon cost. And I'm gonna be honest. I think that a lot of times this carbon cost is overhyped. Like I think it's actually really overhyped, but it's not nothing. Like I don't think it's as dire as people make it out to be, but I do think it is significant. I don't think it's something that I would ever say, oh, it doesn't matter, don't worry about it. No, we should worry maybe a little bit, maybe a little less than we do, but we should actually worry about it. And this is coming from someone who loves our planet, who is pro Earth, but I'm also pro human. And I see the potential good that could be done by cultivating this technology. Okay, this matters, especially for the kind of people who believe that our choices shape our world, which I really do. We're coming up quickly on being, as they would call it, a type 1 civilization, where we're going to have full dominion over our planet and full control to destroy it if we don't make good choices. So what do? What can we do? Well, just like we did with coal and just like we did with nuclear, there's probably going to be a messy, disastrous arc to this technology. And then hopefully it will get way better, way safer, way greener. I believe that that's the way it's going to go personally. And I'm very optimistic about that. And I want it to go that way, right? Don't forget, we had 3 Mile Island. We had Chernobyl. These are nuclear disasters. These are really interesting, and they make people afraid of nuclear. And I spent years actually being afraid of nuclear before I really understood those disasters and I understood the value of nuclear energy. But now I believe that should probably be where we're going more, is toward nuclear energy, because it offers a future for humanity that is actually better, cleaner, more efficient. I personally believe this. And there are a lot of people who believe this. You may not agree with me on this. Drop a comment, let me know. Drop a comment flaming me for my views on nuclear. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Maybe I'll feature your comment in a video and we'll talk about it. I like to talk about these things, but I kind of think AI fits into that same box. Okay. But I'm also going to make a statement here, and this actually might be the most controversial thing I'm going to say in this video. I do not think that the resistance to AI wholly is actually based on the environmental impact or the political factors. I really don't think it is. I think that for most, the resistance to AI is about change. Big, sweeping, life-altering change. The kind of change that destroys jobs, changes entire industries, leaves people without work. It's about the speed of disruption also. The whiplash of watching entire skill sets get outpaced and really taken away from humans, because this is what is happening. I create a lot of AI images, a lot. I don't have the money to pay an artist to do that. So there's an argument to be made that I wouldn't be paying an artist anyway. I just wouldn't have good art on anything if there was no AI. But there is a real argument. What if corporations are saving hundreds of thousands of dollars on design by using AI graphics? That's work that's getting taken away from legitimate human artists, and then it's just going to a bonus to the CEO. So instead of getting $5.7 million this year, he's getting $5.7 million and then a $200,000 bonus for saving the company so much money using AI art. So this is relatively maddening at times, and I do understand that. Okay. And I think that that is kind of what the fear is. The fear is we have these human skills, these artistic human skills, especially writing, design, art. And this is getting so disrupted so fast that literally, like 2 years ago, someone who was making a really important, crucial wage on their art maybe today has watched it be completely decimated, or is afraid that it might be, or is already seeing that happen, which is super valid. Now, I'm going to say another thing here. And keep in mind, this comes from someone who's literally twice had AI disrupt their job to the point where they had to like start over somewhere else. Clinging to the past doesn't protect the value of the thing that we do for money. The truth is, AI has made writing a less sought after human commodity because now there's a machine that can do it pretty well. Art's the same way. Design is the same way. To be honest, coding, website building, app building, these things are really getting there too. What protects our things, our skills, the things that we have been trained to do, the things that we do well, and what protects the value of those things is that we evolve with purpose along the wave. We ride the wave. We find a way to get up on top of it and ride it instead of letting it just crush us, right? This is the truth. I believe this is the way. We don't stop telling stories because the medium shifts, right? We find new ways to tell them. If you're an artist, then competing with AI for cost is going to be a losing fight. But if you can find a way to even incorporate AI into your processes, maybe make it faster, better, right? You can find a way to say, hey, what I do, AI can't do yet. Yet. You need me. I even use AI in my process. Like this forward-thinking idea, this forward-thinking evolution is going to put you ahead of the curve. And friends, this isn't just about D&D. This is about business. This is about business in the face of changing technology. This is about human skills and how they're valued on the marketplace in the face of massive disrupting technology. I see AI as being exactly like a printing press, not the eraser. When the printing press came out, guess what? All of those scribes who had been handwriting books for centuries, suddenly they were completely out of a job because Gutenberg could just print pages now. Fast, fast, fast. So much faster. Was the printing press an evil technology? No, it's considered one of the greatest advancements in human technology in our history. So that's what we think about it now. But think of what the scribes thought when the printing press first came out. They were like, this is the devil. Satan has come to walk among us, and he came with the printing press, my God. That is like what they probably thought, right? And for good reason. Their whole, like the way they bought their food and paid for their housing was demolished overnight by the invention of one machine that rendered their life's skills virtually no longer valuable to the human enterprise. Okay. And value is what drives wages. Value is what drives the cost of skills on the marketplace. Because in a capitalist society, if something is valuable, people will pay a valuable price for it. But if something becomes not so valuable, suddenly they're not going to pay for it, right? And another thing, unsubscribe for this. I'm a capitalist at heart. I love the concept of capitalism. Not that I think that we can't improve on our systems, but I love the idea that I can create something valuable and go out and sell it and take control of my own destiny. I love that idea. I love it. I'm so happy that I have the freedom to do that. And so that's something that I personally celebrate, but you have to celebrate the good and the bad. You can't just want to like sell things and then get mad when the market doesn't deem it valuable anymore. You have to evolve. You have to adapt. Personally, I believe that people who are really creative, who think ahead of the curve, who adapt to this technology, who adapt with it, who even incorporate it and use it instead of being mad about it or letting themselves get crushed beneath the wave of it, these people are going to rise. AI is going to give them a boost of amazing potential like never before. This includes dungeon masters. Dungeon masters who leverage AI to help them make their games better are going to be better than they've ever been, right? So it's about mastering the tools, not rejecting them. I personally believe this. This is what I believe. But then again, I'm also a firm believer in human adaptation. We must continuously adapt. If we just try to stay in one mindset our whole life, friend, we're going to fall way behind because things change too fast. They change way too fast. There is one other thing I think deserves to be talked about here, and that is what AI can't and shouldn't replace, at least not yet. Not yet. Friends, I don't think that most people realize how fast and progressive this technology is going to become, there are going to be humans marrying sentient AI partners within 25 years. That's my prediction. Like, AI is going to become so integrated with humanity that we're going to begin to blur the lines between human and machine. That's still a very cool thing to say. It's a very cool thing to say. Kind of dystopian, but it is a cool thing to say. And I can't say that. I can't say that overall I think it's a bad thing, though I don't want to lose our humanity in the process, because I am pro-human. I love humans. I think we're incredible, and I want to see us preserved. And I want to see the true form of what we are preserved as well. So with that being said, there are things I think AI should never touch, okay? Your empathy, your emotional awareness at your table when you run for your friends, when you run games for your players. Your ability to read the room, to check in with your players, to foster safety and trust, to be able to relate to them in a nuanced human way that, to be honest, AI cannot do. And if it could ever do it, it's a long ways off, because it has taken us thousands of years of evolution to even get to this point, to be able to read these cues. That's what I believe anyway. I don't know if you believe in evolution, but I do. AI can generate a plot twist, yeah, like the data points of it, but it can't sense what your player is wanting for their character in an emotional way. It can't sense if they've had a hard week and need a win, or need a little uplifting, or maybe they're ripe for a challenge and the time has come to present one. AI can describe a dragon really well. It can't, though, create the moment when everyone at the table gasps when that dragon does something that appeals to their truly human fear, especially when given the context of just like everything else going on, what music is going, what the lights are like at the table. Like, there's a lot of things AI doesn't know, can't see, and honestly shouldn't be given final say in, because we need to translate those data sets to a human medium. And that is something that AI definitely cannot do. And I don't see that necessarily happening for a long time. So in closing, yes, I am using AI a lot, every single day. Not only in D&D, but also on my YouTube, and even in my personal life, I use AI a lot. And I'm not going to stop. I'm just not going to stop, because I believe this technology can help us to make the world better. It can help us to make art better. It can help us to tell better stories. It can help us to reclaim time that we would have burned on things we don't have to be doing, so that we can get to the things that are really important. But I also believe we need to use it consciously, obviously, with eyes open, with our human hearts intact. AI isn't the enemy. Fear and failure to adapt is actually the enemy. And if we face that fear and those adaptational changes honestly, with creativity and courage, and we look forward, right, and we try to think about what's going to happen in the future, and then we try to adapt now to prevent bad outcomes, friends, we don't have to lose ourselves. We can evolve with it for the better and remain human while we do it. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Empowering Game Masters to run better games is the goal of the channel. I'll see you awesome people on the next one.